Welcome to Beacon High School online video. Topic for today is characteristic of living beings. Every day we come across a number of objects around us. Some of them are living, such as plants and animals, and some are non-living, such as chair, table, stone, etc. All living beings shows certain characteristics. These are as follows: cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, growth, movement, excretion, response to stimulus, reproduction, and lifespan, which we will study in this chapter one by one. You have seen a mason working at a construction site. He puts one brick over another to construct a house. A brick is thus the building block of a house. Similarly, all the objects, whether it is living or non-living, they are made up of some basic structural unit. Atom is the basic structural unit of non-living thing. Atom combines to form the molecule, and thus molecules combine to form a matter. However, in living beings, these atoms and molecules form the basic living units which are called cells. Cells combines and they form the organism. Cellular organization in the living beings. Cell. Cell is the basic and building block of a life. When cell combines with other cell showing the similar function, they form tissue. Tissues which combines with the other tissue showing similar function and they form the organ. Now organs combine with the other organ and they form the organ system. Now when all the organ system come together and then they form an organism. We can compare this with the building block which is played by a child. When the blocks are being used by the child, the single block is the basic and structural unit for making a house. Cells. Cells are the basic building blocks of life. They are responsible for the structure and functioning of all living beings. Cells are of two types, unicellular cells and multicellular cells. Unicellular cells are those cells which are made up of only one cell. Means that single cell performs all the functions necessary for the organisms to live. Whereas multicellular cells are made up of many cells. Functioning of multicellular cells is more complex as compared to unicellular cells. Multicellular cells examples are plant cells and animal cells. Some other examples of unicellular cells are paramecium, amoeba, bacteria and yeast. They are made up of from one single cell only. Multicellular cells are of two types, plant cell and animal cell. Let us compare plant cell and animal cell. Plant cell has a cell wall, cytoplasm, cell membrane and a nucleus. Cell wall is the outermost layer and it is the protective layer of the plant cell. The second layer is the cell membrane, which lets nutrients, waste go in and out of the cell. Cytoplasm is the jelly-like part of the cell. Nucleus. Nucleus is the center of the cell. Some other parts of the plant cell are mitochondria, which is known as powerhouse of the cell where energy is produced, and chloroplast, where food are prepared for the plant. Now let us observe animal cell. Animal cell has a three-layer, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. The main difference between the plant cell and animal cell is that the animal cell lack cell wall. Let us observe animal cell and plant cell through the microscope. Onion peel cells is one of the plant cell in which we can observe cell wall, cytoplasm, and nucleus. Whereas human cheek cell is one of the animal cell which has only cell membrane, nucleus, and cytoplasm. If we compare plant cell and animal cell, in animal cell there is a lack of cell wall. Now a question arises whether viruses are living or non-living. According to biologists, a virus shows characteristic of living as well as non-living. According to them, virus is non-living because they are not cells and they do not use energy to grow or respond to other surroundings. They cannot make food, they cannot take in food, they cannot produce waste like other living cells do. They also do not show any response to stimuli, but when they entered into the living cell or the host, they can multiply like other organisms. They can behave like living cells. So, the viruses is when outside a host, they shows no sign of life. So, virus shows the characteristic of living as well as non-living. Next characteristic of living being is nutrition. What will happen if we skip a meal? If we skip a meal, if there is no food, we do not get the energy to do any work. We will feel hungry and want to eat something. Our body needs food because food is essential for all living beings. Plants as well as animals need food to grow and to get energy. Green plants make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Non-green plants like mushroom and animals obtain their food from other organisms. Some animals like tiger, lion, they eat the meat of other animals for food. Respiration. Respiration is one of the characteristics of living organism. Now what is respiration? Respiration is the process in which an organism uses oxygen for its life processes and then gives off carbon dioxide. All living beings take in air from their surrounding and breathe it out. In this process, oxygen goes in and is utilized by the body. Oxygen that goes inside the body is used for production of energy. That energy is used for movement and performing different activities, and carbon dioxide is released from the body. This is the respiration. Multicellular organisms have specific organs for breathing. Human beings exchange gases with the help of lungs. Fish exchange gases through gills. Plants exchange gases through small pores called stomata. Growth and development. All living beings shows growth and development in size and intelligence. All living beings grow to become adults. A seed germinates and grows into a plant and then into a tree. A chick hatches from an egg and grows into a hen or a cock. A human baby grows into an adult. This happens because new cells are constantly being formed in the body of living beings through cell division. Cell division. Cell division is main reason behind the growth and development in the living organism. Now what is cell division? Cell division is the process by which parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells. In cell division, first division of nucleus takes place, which is followed by division of cytoplasm and then cell membrane. And then they divide to form two different daughter cells. Movement. Living beings shows movement. Animals move from place to place in search of food, for shelter and for escaping from enemies, while plants remain in their own place and they do not move. However, some plants shows movement towards the light. For example, flowers like sunflower, they change their position to face the sun. So, The response of plant parts to light producing a bending towards the light source is called phototropism. Excretion. We know that living beings carry out many life processes like respiration and digestion of food. And during these processes, some waste they are produced in the body. So if we allow the waste to accumulate in the body, they may cause harm. So they should be removed from the body. So the process in which waste are removed from the body of plants and animal is called excretion. In animal, kidney is the important organ that remove the waste from the body. Animal waste are mainly urine, sweat and carbon dioxide. Plant waste are carbon dioxide, oxygen and water vapor. Some of other examples of waste produced by plants are gum, resins, white fluid in rubber trees. Response to stimulus. All living beings react to changes around them. A change is called stimulus and the reaction to change is the response to the stimulus. Even plants respond to stimulus. Stem of plant bends towards the light, that is, they shows movement towards the light, and the roots grows towards the ground. They shows movement towards the gravity. The leaves of touch me not plant fold when they are touched. When we touch a hot pot, we immediately withdraw our hand. This is also an example of response to stimulus. Reproduction. A cat gives birth to kittens and dog to puppies. A hen lays eggs from which chicks hatch out and a human gives birth to a baby. Non-living thing does not have this ability. Even plant also reproduce by different ways. Some plants produce seeds through which new plants grow. Others multiply with the help of branches, stems, leaves or roots. This ability to give rise to more of their own kind is called reproduction. Lifespan of organism. Living beings live for a certain period of time and then they die. This cycle of birth and death is very unique in living beings and reproduction helps in this cycle. Lifespans of different living beings are different. For example, elephant lived 60 to 90 years, rose for 5 to 7 years, dog 20 to 50 years, butterfly for 1 to 2 weeks, crow lived for 15 years, banana tree for 25 years, cow for 20 to 25 years, horse 60 years, crocodile 60 years, rice plant live for 3 to 4 months, tortoise 100 to 150 years, banyan tree 200 years, and bacteria live for 20 minutes, house fly for 1 to 4 months. So it may range from a few hours to many years. Species. A species is a group of organisms that may interbreed and they produce the offspring that is also capable of reproducing the same kind. Means each kind of organism is referred as a species. An organism belonging to the same species have similar characters and they are able to breed among themselves. All lion belongs to one species and tigers to another. Tigers can breed among themselves and not with lions. Tiger will give birth to the tiger only. Let us study the difference between living beings and non-living things. Living things are made up of living cells, whereas non-living things, they are not made up of cells, they are made up of atoms. Living things need food, air and water, whereas non-living thing does not require food, air and water. Growth and reproduction is present in living beings, whereas non-living things does not show any growth and it does not reproduce anything. In living things, respiration is present, whereas in non-living things, they do not respire. Living beings can move on their own. Non-living things does not show movement on their own. Living beings are sensitive and respond to changes around them, whereas non-living things, they do not show any sensitive and do not respond to changes around them. Living things excrete and they get rid of waste materials from their body, whereas non-living things, they do not remove out the waste from their body. They do not excrete. Living things have a definite lifespan after which they die. Non-living things do not have a definite life cycle. So today we have learned all about the characteristic of living beings like reproduction, nutrition, growth and development, response to stimulus, excretion, and cellular organization, which is absent in the non-living things.